My name is Jeffrey Wong Sang and I'm a tour guide in Trinidad and Tobago. Always been a naturalist since I was small. I've always wanted to join the Field Naturalist Club. Mushrooms and fungi, actually I would eventually say that it chose me. I noticed the actual mushrooms growing wild, especially in the bamboo cathedral where I was walking. And in 2011, when I was walking there with my wife and some friends, that I actually happened to see what would eventually turn out to be an orange veil lady. And that was literally my first mushroom that I had taken a picture of. And I was so blown over by the beauty of the actual mushroom. And of course at the time I didn't know what the actual name was, and I was actually kept in the dark for a couple months because I just couldn't find the name of it and there was no one to ask. And eventually I did, and it was quite by accident, and I just happened to be on a boat going to Tobago to see that another photographer had taken a picture of it and the name was underneath it. And that's how I ended up getting the name of the actual mushroom. But I continued taking pictures of the mushrooms in that same area on a weekly basis, because that's where I was working for exercise at the time. You won't believe village elders. Like if I am in a place like Castara, where I collect a lot of the first time mushrooms that I've collected, like this one here. This is called a wood ear. And when I came out to the bush, it turned out that this is something that they consume over there. If you eat Chinese food, the black version to this, people call it, there you go, there you go.
These funguses grow on the side of wood, and that's why they're called wood funguses and wood ears. And they actually, when they're reconstituted, they look like an ear. See, just like an ear. This is what they look like after they're reconstituted.
This is the Trini version. Doesn't it look the same? And it actually had a picture of it in one of the books there, how big it was. It shrinks, of course, because it went into alcohol. But other than that, this one is kept very, very well. This is one of the very, very first I collected. I did the first set of collecting with the Charlottesville BioBlitz. And that is where I literally had the first public display. The Charlottesville BioBlitz. When people ask what started it off, which one? This is the first one I was collected. Right? The first one that was physically seen was the orange one. Right? And that would be this one like this. But of course it lost the orange color, but it was like this. And it would have been standing upright. So this newspaper article comes out and I'm reading this thing, BioBlitz in Tucker Valley. So what the hell is a BioBlitz? So I read it and I say, but wait. You're talking about counting everything living for 24 hours. I see no mention of fungi. There was nobody to look for them. Nobody had any interest. I did every single BioBlitz up to last year, so that would have been from, I guess, 13, well, I did 6, I think, yeah, 13 to 19. right? The only one I missed would have been Tucker Valley.
Well, this is a BioBlitz. This is the first of its kind event in Trinidad and Tobago, and I think the Caribbean as well. But they've been going on for since the mid-1990s in America and Europe. And it's an event where you gather a group of experts, people who can identify plants and animals and all sorts, and you choose an area. In this case, we're choosing Tucker Valley, which is in the Chaguaramas National Park. And then in 24 hours, you try and record as many different types of species of plants and animals and fungi as possible. Every living thing.
The science of it has brought over a totally different spin. It's not just photography anymore. But because of the realization that no one at a high level like in a UE is doing it, it kind of drives me forward to hey, maybe I can end up being the first mycologist if I stick at it and go at it hard enough. But it would probably mean me stopping working, and therein we come back with the circle where we need some kind of financial support for this, for me to be able to do that. Definitely, I would love Trinidadians and Tobagonians to the awareness thing, that's what it started off as, and they've definitely come full circle with it. As I was telling you before, we now have over 1,500 followers on the Facebook page, which is, and this is what, 4 years roughly of doing this, 4 or 5 years. So that in itself shows that there's some interest out there. But it's not just the awareness now, it's I want to see it being utilized for food purposes and possibly medicinal in particular. Heck, we could be sitting on the next cure for diabetes or cancer for that matter, and there's no one at any level here that are using the local fungi for testing and potentially a cure. As much as this is nice to look at, you realize that if you one day could realize that this particular mushroom, when I grind it up and mix it with this and I start ingesting it, it brings my blood pressure down. Most of all, I'd love young people to be able to walk with me, and we can really get this project down pat and reach the goal that was set in Fungi of the Caribbean, the book, of the over 5,000 specimens. At least to have photographs for all of those specimens, and most of all to be able to open that museum that I personally would like to see one day. I get emails from people who've been passed on my name, like how you may have been passed on my name from other people, and they're foreigners, and I guess that could possibly be the way where I could end up doing a lot more for the country with foreign assistance one day, with somebody, as I said, willing to interject some funds and recognize that there's research to be done here, and they like what they see and what I'm doing, at least.